Catch me at the mall with your dame, but nah, I ain't buying shit. She's tricking. 5 pairs of 4 white airs and some Scottie Pippins. Bitches be basic and they ain't shit. At least I'm famous and I ain't shit. Well,
garage tour while the Mustang was at the exhaust shop. Gave this place a makeover. That shelving was already here. We redid all the floors and epoxy coating. Kind of a pain in the ass to do. Ended up having to do 2 coats on this section because it didn't dry correctly. I actually haven't parked a car in it yet, so we're gonna see how that goes today. All my stuff, some banners. This, ended up putting all my detailing stuff in. I have a million towels, plus some other things are in there. My old toolbox that I mainly just have like random like stuff in it. My regular toolbox. Actually, I really like that toolbox. It's a Husky from Home Depot. Hung the bikes on the wall. Maximum Motorsports. All my other stuff, jacks, jack stands, compressor, engines, crane, stand, whatever. Brief tour. And we put up like 16,000 lumens of light. You can tell it's like crazy, super bright in here. Lights off. Lights on. It's pretty insane. The camera doesn't really do it justice. Okay, so this piece has a bad O2 sensor. It had a P1131, I think was the code, which is bank 1 upstream heated oxygen sensor, which on these cars is the passenger side. So I'm gonna pull the car in, replace that. I gotta put the car up on boards to get under it. Low car life. So as I said, this car is a pain to jack up. So trusty boards. Shut her off. Let my oil scavenge pump run for a second here, and then I'll open the hood up, and then I'm gonna jack the car up and kind of get to it here. And aero catch latches. But I also still have the normal hood latch. Cut that off. For extra safety. Ta-da. So here we go. There's the new one. Bought a Motorcraft one. They seem to work a bit better. I'm pretty sure they're actually made by NTK. They look pretty much the same as the NTK ones, but got this from late model resto. It was only 50 bucks. Trying to get to, you can't really see it down in there. I'm gonna have to get to it from underneath the car. It's kind of a weird spot. There's not a whole lot of room here. So jack the car up. Here we go.
Better act right, 'cause I smack dykes, give 'em blow
All right, gonna crawl under there, see if I can get to it. Pro tip, this little baby, zoom, there we go, is an oxygen sensor wrench attachment. Makes this a little bit easier of a process. Most oxygen sensors are 7/8, 22 millimeter. You can see that on there. They're pretty big. So if you don't have a large wrench, they're hard to get to. You can find these at any of your like local parts stores. They're like under $10. I think this one is from Advance, maybe. I'm gonna crawl under there, make sure that's all good. By the way, so under the car, see if we can get to this thing. Oh man, it is up there. It is a pain in the ass to get to, I'm not gonna lie. While I'm down here though, I'm gonna show you the reason why my car was in the shop. This is some handiwork from Inman Muffler Shop. Shouts to them, Inman, South Carolina. Probably the best freaking muffler shop in the upstate South Carolina region. If you need anything exhaust work done to your car, take it to them. This is a killer freaking downpipe they made. V-band, tucked this thing under my sway bar, under my steering rack, ran it back. I have some video of the rest of it, but tucked everything nice up under the car there. Perfect. Even did this craziness around my K-member brace. There we go. And V-band. Yep. Wild stuff. I'm going to wrap this section here tonight. You can see it's super close to, there we go, tie rod and boot. It's not touching, but, or at least it doesn't touch when the suspension is loaded. But it's freaking close. So I'm gonna wrap this section of the pipe probably from here to here, just to keep that from melting. Hopefully, don't really want that to melt. Anyways, I'm gonna try and get this thing off. I lost it. There we go. I got my little wrench attachment on there. As you can see, this is freaking hellaciously tight next to my like AC condenser line. I had to kind of shove, like try and push it out of the way even to get that on. So it's gonna be interesting seeing if I can even get a wrench in here. I know it can be done. I've actually done it before, but we'll see how this goes. I'm gonna turn the camera off. I can't hold it and do this at the same time. Okay, so I did get it loose using this thing that I was just talking about, and nice 3/8 flex head ratchet. You can see I'm pretty well equipped here with a big toolbox. Having the right tools makes everything a million times easier. So get you an angle here. There we go. I just gave it one little crank to loosen it up, and I'm just going to unscrew it. I don't put these things in super tight for good reason. If you put them in super tight, they're impossible to get back out. So just gonna unhook it from my oxygen sensor extender here. The harness doesn't reach from the turbo headers, and there we are, out with the supposed bad one. Ford OEM. Does not say NTK anywhere that I can tell, but they look very similar. Well, the end looks a little different. Hopefully that was the right part number. But harnesses are the same at least. Well, let's stick the new one in and see what happens. I will say I appreciate that Ford pre-applied some anti-seize on there. Pro tip, oxygen sensors, anti-seize the balls out of these. They will 100% seize up in your headers, and they are impossible to get out if they do so. You got to heat the hell out of the headers. I'm going to shove this one in and go from there. Okay, got it screwed in. Actually found it was easier to just use a wrench, adjustable crescent wrench, I guess this is technically called, rather than trying to shove. Yes, my tools are very organized. Rather than trying to shove this thing back on there, it barely fits how close the oxygen sensor is to the AC. So that ended up just being easier to try and tighten it. And the new one's back in. Snag my wire. And just give that a little plug in here. So I'm going to kind of give an update on what has been going on with this car here in another video. But basically, I've been fighting issues with this car having idle / cruise, coasting, stalling problems, which we've pretty much, Tuner and I, traced back to this bank oxygen sensor readings being kind of funky. He seems to believe that it is related to the position. That's my AC. You can't see very well, but the position of my oxygen sensor in the header creating too much turbulence with the O2 reading, which creates some funky fuel trims, which creates problems. I was hoping that after I had fixed all the exhaust leaks on this car, that was going to fix the problem. So far, no good. I had a buddy also ship me a new oxygen sensor extender. This black thing here that runs it back to the main harness to try and track that down. I'm going to do some logging again. I can show you guys some what's going on issue-wise as well as what the log looks like, but I'm hoping maybe this will fix it. Probably not going to. I've had this problem forever. But I'm going to crawl back under the car and rewrap that pipe. So I'm not planning on pulling the pipe off. I should have enough room to do it under the car. This is a big old roll of lava wrap from Summit. DEI makes something similar, but it's like way more expensive. This is the Summit brand. It's cheaper and seems to be pretty much the same thing. This is partial fiberglass, but partial lava rock, so it's a little bit easier to work with. You do not have to wet it to put it on, and it makes you less itchy afterwards. So I'm going to use that. That's what I've wrapped everything else with. It seems to be nicer. That's what my downpipe is wrapped with all up there. It actually kind of needs rewrapped. It's starting to fall apart. So I have my tuner plugged in. I'm going to reset the Keep Alive memory. This is an X4. If you go down, turn that chime off. If you go down to Vehicle Functions and then Special Functions, turn key on, it's already on. Cam reset, Keep Alive memory. Basically what that means is you can reset the computer's learning. So when you go to start the car, it's going to try and relearn everything essentially. I'm going to reset that since I just replaced the oxygen sensor. Turn key off. You don't necessarily have to. And then I'm going to start it up here in a second. Let me unplug this. See if it idles any smoother here. air fuel ratio is kind of a mess at idle, so it doesn't seem like it's helping much here. Back in its resting place, I'm gonna pull the focus in here. Seems okay. I won't really know anything until I drive it. Like I said, I'm gonna take some video of driving it. That'll probably go maybe in my next video, maybe at the end of this one. I'm not sure yet. But in an upcoming video, anyone that's watching, I want you guys, if you have any questions about this build, I'm going to be doing like a Q&A, frequently asked question, kind of going over stuff that I get asked a lot about this. Drop them in the comments. Anything you really want to know that I may not have answered already. I'll try and get to them as long as it's not a super stupid question.
In the club in LA, me and Tito poppin', yeah, we had a good night. Yeah, we did. Walked up out of it, got approached by Suge Knight. What's up? He said I owed him money. Tupac beat started screwing. I said, no, I don't, homie, now tell me what we doing.